Hey Madhur,
Yeah,
hope
hi.
every- how are you?
Yeah, very good.
Nice,
Uh,
nice. Good to know. How was the day?
Normal?
Good to know.
Yeah.
Madhur, we'll wait for a couple of more minutes and then we'll start the session, okay? Meanwhile, can you tell me if you're able to type anything in the chat? I just want to know what options are enabled for now. Perfect, I can see you can type. Good to know. Hey Sorin, how are you? Hi Sonali, sorry that yesterday I had to spend some time before you came into the class, so sorry for the mishap yesterday. Hey Pratik, hey Rakshit. How was the weekend, Sorin? How was the weekend, everyone? Yes, you can't unmute. I made that option for the choice. Okay, the reason was for some logistics reasons. Okay, I have to put this recording on some portal, and it kind of takes a lot of time in the editing. So I just thought that for the starting of the session, I'll keep everyone muted, and when the session completes, I'll unmute you all. Okay. So maybe if you can tell me in the chat, that will be helpful. Hey Ashwath. Hey Rahul. Hello. It's all right, sorry. Yesterday's session was also uploaded to the portal, so you can go to datadiscourse.in and in the free masterclass section, there will be a section called completed masterclasses, and it's all free to watch, so you can watch the recording also. Perfect. Hey Sangya, long time. How are you? Harry, कैसे हो? Hey Param. I see a lot of my previous folks, so good to know. Sangya, you are from Tableau batch, right? If I'm not wrong. And Prateek is from ETL batch, right? From Fabric batch. Good to know. Ashwath is from Solution Architect batch. I can see Param. Param is from Fabric batch. Sandeep. Hey Sandeep, long time. How are you? Hey Sanjay. Sanjay is also from the Data Discourse batch. Cools. Hey Arshil. All right, so I have enabled the auto join, so I think we can get started. Meanwhile, folks will keep on joining. Okay, let me solve a bit of logistics. Hey Param, good morning. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'll start presenting and tell you guys the agenda for today. Cools. I will just hide this one up. Okay, so before beginning, I'll need at least a single yes in the chat. Can you all see me? Can you all hear me? And I'm currently sharing the Excel draw screen also. So can you all see the screen as well? Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. So let's begin the session for today. Just a bit disclaimer. If you guys missed yesterday's class, it's all there in the portal. Okay. Go to datadiscourse.in, go to free masterclass. There will be completed masterclass and you can watch the recording for free. Yesterday's topic was how the modern data tech stack is collapsing. I gave you a few of the hints, right? The first hint was everything is consolidating into a single vendor solution, right? Today I'll deep dive on that point also. The topic for today is great reset. Okay, yesterday we discussed the reset about how MDS, modern data structures, modern data systems are data tech stack is collapsing, and today we'll see how the AI is playing the part in it. Okay, overall the curriculum for today is I'll give you trends, what is happening in industry. Once you know that, tell you the trend that is happening in the data environments also. Okay, key. Once you know that, hey, AI is going in some particular direction, how are the vendors involving those patterns into their products? By vendors, I mean the platforms, right? We use the BI tools, we use the ETL tools, we use the warehouse, and we use the databases also, OLTP databases, right? Everyone is adopting their features into their tools. I'll give you a brief idea of which tool is going in which direction, and then you'll get to know that, hey, if you want to know that also, how can you learn those tools also. I'll give you a roadmap also, and in the end I'll give you some hot takes. Okay, I'll keep giving you, again, not written in any books, but I'll try to tell you where the market is going. Okay, this is going to be the overall agenda for today. Now, before telling you guys that, hey, the reset is happening, okay, I just want to tell you guys that if you believe that your workflow right now, no matter if you're working in analytics or warehouse or DBA or maybe in some other role, if you believe that still AI is not going to just pop the bubble of your workflow, you are completely wrong. Okay. I'll show you a few of the reports first just to make my point stronger that AI is coming in almost every tool which you use today. So I'll switch to my browser and I was collating some papers and I'll show you 4 to 5 papers, show you some headlines of the papers where the market is drifting. Okay. The first one is Gartner, our very own suite, the market research company. They keep on releasing their reports, but this one which I want to highlight is Gartner report 2026, right? They wanted to highlight the spend which is happening on AI, right? This year report, every paper, every case study, every article which I will flash in this class is going to be of either this year or last year. We won't go beyond 2025. Okay, so everything is going to be up to date. So Gartner is saying global AI spend is reaching 2.59 trillion in 2026. This is not regarding just the data platform, but giving a highlight that where the market is drifting. Okay, it's a very long product, very long article, but you can have a look at this. This is at the CIO Dive, right? It's a very great website if you want to read about where the market is going. The first report, right? That, hey, if companies are going to invest, well, companies are investing, it's very obvious that the impact will be present in your jobs also. Okay, this was the first one. I'll keep showing you some of the other reports also. This report is by Stanford, right? They also keep on releasing reports. This one is 2026 AI index. 581.7 billion is going to invest it in the corporate AI. This is the bubble, or this is the sub part of the global AI spend. Okay, this is the second report that you can read. I'm just trying to show you these just to prove that, hey, the spend is happening and this is going to come in your tools, your workflows, which you are using right now. Okay, won't go into the details of every paper, just will highlight the reports. VC concentration, because VCs are the people who invest in the tools. This is the third report. This is by SVB, again, great company, published great articles, and their takeaway is 340 billion of investment, which is VCs are doing currently, is happening only in companies who have AI quote unquote in their homepages. Okay, let me flash some more reports. Again, this one, especially by MIT, is a great report. Okay, because since you know that everyone is investing, companies are investing in AI, every company wants their pie, wants their share in the pie, right? You might also be seeing in your own company also, right? Everyone wants to build a chatbot. Everyone wants to build conversational AI, right? This report says 95% of the AI pilots which are happening in the companies, they failed. This 95 is a big number, right? So if someone in futures, your manager comes to you and tells you, hey, can you build me another co-pilot that we are going to replace some other data products AI solution, just show him this, that it's not going to be productionalized also. I'll tell you why this happens as well, but just giving you some patterns which is happening in the industry. Moving to the next one, Databricks trend. Again, very great insight. Okay. People say that, hey, I don't use AI, but this was by Databricks, and I'll show you one line here, which is, yes. So, in case you do not know, yesterday also I covered, right? Databricks acquired Neon, 250 plus million of investment, right? And Neon is a OLTP database. And the insight is in Databricks, 80% of the databases, 80% is a huge number, is created by AI agents. I'm not saying it, okay? This is the report by Databricks only. So to the people who say, hey, it doesn't matter, living under the rock. Okay. I'll keep going through some more papers. DuckDB, great website. They are, in case you do not know, DuckDB is a warehousing company. It tells you that, hey, you don't need to purchase a warehouse. It's open source. Just install some library in your system and then you're good to go. What do they say? They say that 82% of the professionals use AI in their day-to-day job. Okay, if you fall in that 82%, would love to chat more about how do you use it. But if you're not in this 82%, things are not going to be shiny for you. Okay, few more reports. This one is also great insight that everyone is building maybe an L to SQL, right? What is AI solution, right? You just convert the user problems of English sentences. Maybe I want to know what is sales in India. Maybe I want to know how many products exist in my company, right? These are the questions that you ask to the product, to the AI, and AI gives you answers, right? So generally the tech which goes behind this is NL to SQL. NL means natural language, right? This paper came in 2025. This states that 73% of the NL accuracy, the accuracy of giving correct answer to your NL is 73%. It's not 100%, okay? This is also one of the insight that you can present to your colleagues when they say, hey, we will incorporate AI and replace all the reports. They're not accurate. And if numbers are not accurate, no one is going to trust you on the reports, right? So just one more insight on that. And this is also great insight that the if I'm showing you, right, the investments are happening. The biggest roadblocker for AI in today's age is change management. What is change management, right? People do not want to adopt it because whatever you can do in today's day and age, at least 50% of that stuff can be done with the AI if you know the workflows. Okay, but this is also great insight by this guy is a VC of Thomson. If you do not know, he also told us that the change management is the biggest roadblocker to AI. It's not technicals. Okay, if you believe that you can code better than AI, you're completely wrong, right? I hope you know, right? Claude can do way better than you, right? If in case you can argue, right? Claude, I think US military caught Maduro, right, in the Venezuela. They use Claude for that, right? And you're saying that if you can code me a productivity app and I code better than Claude, that's not going to happen. Okay. So change management or people resisting to learn and adopt something new is the biggest blocker for now. It's not technicals. Okay. Few maybe last report on DBT, right? In case you do not know DBT, DBT is the company who introduced the concept of analytics engineering, right? They said that, hey, why do you use click heavy ETL tools? Use me, I am SQL based ETL tool so that even your BI engineers can do transformation on your data. Okay. What do they say? They keep on publishing these reports, but I want you to highlight this that on the DBT platform, 72% of the people say they use AI assisted coding also. This coding doesn't mean software engineering, by the way. DBT is not a software engineering code product, right? They use it for the data platforms only. So just few papers to highlight that where the industry is trending. Everyone is trying to move into the space of AI. This was first point. The second point could be, hey Sahil, can you tell me if the products which we use, this was the industry, right? The overall industry, this is not about data. Now I'll do very quick test, okay? We'll do one thing. I'll pick few domains. Domains could be BI, ETL, databases, orchestration tool. Pick top players of these domains. I'll open their home pages and we'll see what is written on their homepage. Okay, a very great experiment that I also do when I am talking to my mentees, right? So I'll close all these things and let's see what the products which we use, which have been using in decades for the data platforms, right? What are they claiming? What do they do in real life? Maybe we'll talk about databases, for example. Who is the biggest OLTP database? MySQL, right? If I open MySQL, I'll open their homepage and I'll try not even to scroll it. Okay, we'll see the AI on the homepage on the hero section. See, I have opened it, and the second point they are saying is MySQL AI. Okay, this was around database. I can open any website of any database. You will see this pattern, but maybe I'll move on from the databases, right? Maybe we'll talk about some ETL tool. Who is the biggest ETL tool? Maybe DBT we'll talk about, right? If I open DBT's homepage, hey, this is not the one. Give me a second. So this is the homepage and see the header, right? AI ready data transformations. I'll open any other data, maybe Matillion, right? Matillion is a legacy, but still people use it. Maybe let's open the Matillion's tool and then we'll see what do they claim, what are they. So World's first AI data automation platform. Okay, this was on ETL. We'll move on from ETL. Let's say, hey, maybe ETL is saying it, other vendors won't say. We'll move to data warehousing, for example. Let's open Snowflake. Okay, we'll go to the home page. I won't even scroll. Even the header, see, it's Snowflake AI Data Cloud. Okay, they have two products in data. One is code and one is work, right? I'll talk about the products in a separate, maybe after 10 minutes, but just giving you highlight that not even scrolling, everyone is going agentic for now. Maybe who is the biggest data warehousing player apart from Snowflake? Databricks, for example. We'll see what is Databricks claiming. Okay, I'll go to their website and the database your AI agents deserve. Okay, right now, no one, again, this I will drop in the hot text also, but no company wants to cater people. Everyone wants to cater agents. The consumers of your data platform is going to be an agent, not a human. And if these homepages do not make you convincing, are not convincing enough, I'll make more points in the future. Maybe give me 10 more minutes. Okay. Maybe open any, you can say that, hey, Sai, Databricks and stuff like are cool, but there are new AI first warehouses are also coming. Maybe ClickHouse, right? Let's see what ClickHouse is claiming. I'll go to the website. The leading database for AI. Okay, this was for data warehousing. Maybe we'll say, hey, warehousing is fine. We'll move to maybe orchestration tool. Okay, who is the biggest orchestrator? Maybe Daxter, for example. Let's see what they are claiming. Data your team trusts, AI that runs on it. Okay, this was orchestration. I can keep on opening any website. Okay, maybe we'll say, hey, this is fine, but I don't use data product. I use code. I do everything in code. Let's see the code editors. We'll say VS Code. So, and these tools have been in decades, the people are using it. Okay, the open source AI code editor. Okay, so code editors have also been here. Now the last pointer, maybe the consumption layer, we'll talk about BI tools, right? Maybe Power BI, Tableau, those kind of tools, right? I'll open Tableau's website. Oops, not this. Let me open Tableau, and meanwhile I'll open Power BI also. Okay, Power BI, I'm not sure if they would have written, but let's check because they sell Fabric, not Power BI for nowadays. But see here, we are at Power Tableau and maybe I'll need to scroll. Yes, get the insights with trusted AI. Right? I went for scrolling a bit, but it's all right. Uh, I think I'll need to do this. Power BI home page. Okay. This is the product page and Copilot, right? So the domains, no matter which domain you're working, the tool which you're using currently is going a drastic shift. The layer where it's going is the usage will be by agents, not by humans. Just one point. I'll double tap on this point. We saw the home pages, okay? Maybe you can say, hey, on the home page, they just want to sell the product, so they have the banners of AI. I'll disapprove this point. Let's see the product features these tools are releasing. Okay, we'll see 2026 cap features. We'll see what are they doing in their internal products. I close all these pointers. Okay, I'm going to come to all these points also, like what are everyone doing and where, like what you will need to do also. But just marking my point that if you think AI is not in your workflow, maybe you are wrong. Okay, let's see the product release. Okay, maybe I'll take 4 5 examples of any tool and I'll show you where the product releases are coming. Maybe I'll pick Power BI for example. So Power BI product release. Okay. So what's new in Power BI? If in case you do not know, every tool has their changelog slash what's new page where they keep on publishing what are they working on. So Copilot and AI. All the releases which has been happening in the last 6 months have all been Copilot. They are not even focusing on their native tool. Okay, this is for the Power BI. Maybe I'll pull Tableau for example. Tableau product features. Okay, we'll see what they're working on. So, uh, 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 Tableau next. Agentic platform and every release have been happening here. Okay. Maybe I'll pull Databricks for example. Databricks product releases. Okay, and all these releases which I am showing you are 2026 product release. Okay, the feature release I am not going back in the past. Let's see what they are doing nowadays. Integration of OpenAI, Sora, Luna, everything, right? It's all, of course, lake base I talked about yesterday, right? It's a great feature they are working on, but you can see what are the other things, right? AI agent, Genie agent, Unity catalog with the help of AI. Every single thing which the vendors are working nowadays is for the AI agent. It's not for the human consumption. Okay, I can do it for almost everything, but just to tell you, this is the pattern. Okay, so when I was talking here, that, give me a second, let me make it here. I will keep chat open somewhere. Yeah, when I was saying that the reset is happening, it's not just hey, some random person sitting in Jammu is saying it. Industry patterns are showing it, the data platforms are showing it. Okay, I'm just showing you on the data platform. I'll maybe deep dive into what each and every product is doing. Okay, now I'll start telling you guys what features are coming. Okay, because if you know what features are coming, you can do the comparison and then you can also upskill on the same features. Okay, and reshaping part, data teams. See, when I said that, when I'm saying that, hey, the teams will be reshaped, the workflows will be reshaped. Whatever work we do, right, as professionals, we have to use these products. If product itself is going to change, the product itself is resetting, don't you think your job will also be reset? Not the job professional, but the work which you do or the way you do work. Don't you think that is also going to be rechanged? So that's the notion which I'm claiming. Okay. Now I'll do one thing. I'll open Google Sheets. And I'll start. Till now I just picked the domains, right? ETL as a domain, database as a domain, BA as a domain. And then I told you that every product release is happening here. Now I'll drill down, I'll double tap. I'll pick all the tools of every domain which I know and which are famous in market. And I'll tell you what's the change or what are the AI features they are launching. Okay. So maybe we'll start with ETL if that's fine. Or maybe we'll start with data warehousing. Okay. Can you guys tell me your favorite database, data warehouse? I'll try to pull them here. Meanwhile, I'll create this cross tab. So, maybe I'll do this. Meanwhile, you can drop your favorite data warehouse. I'll just put it the feature which they're releasing and how it relates. Okay. Architecture. Maybe market name. I'll just create this cross tab. Give me 2 to 3 minutes and then I think we should be good. I'll tell you the tech behind it. I'll also tell you the who executes. I'll also tell you the signature launches or product releases. Okay. Okay. So before telling you where the market is drifting or the reset is happening, I'll quickly give you a glimpse of in the warehouse world at least how the market has been shifting. Okay, because if you know how the market has been shifting till now, you will be able to guess and make a very informed decision that where the market will be in maybe next 2 to 3 years. Okay. Meanwhile, Redshift, nice, good to know. SNF is Snowflake, I believe, right? Good to know. Here's Sunil. Thanks for joining. Cool. So I'll do one thing, okay? I'll maybe divide the architectures of data warehouses in some eras, right? There was some pre-cloud era, maybe I'll say 2010 and before, right? 2010. This was EDW era. What is EDW? I hope you know. EDW is enterprise data warehouses, right? Products like Teradata, Oracle was way bigger here. And what was their selling point? They were selling that we are on-premise data warehouses. There was no cloud back in the days, right? The market name was again BI became very popular in that era, and EDW became very popular, right? And if you have used some legacy tools, I told you yesterday also, they were monolithic. That means purchase one tool vendor, they will do everything. Purchase Cognos, purchase maybe, yeah, I purchase IBM, they will do your reporting, they will do your data modeling, they will do your ETL. So that was monolithic era, but of course, within time it changed, right? The tech which was present, because these were warehouses and Warehouses use only one language. They speak in only one language, that is SQL. They don't even speak in Python. Of course, nowadays you can use Python in almost every warehouse, but warehouse on its core uses SQL. Okay. The execution pattern was humans were reading and writing, RW, right? Read and write. Of course, Signature, Oracle was there, Teradata was there, IBM was there, framework managers were there, right? Then we had cloud era, right? Cloud was, I think, till 2019, right? 2020, I can write. This was cloud data warehouses. What was their pitch? Their pitch was that, hey, the on-premise sucks because you are coupling your compute and storage. Just purchase us, we are decoupling everything, right? So in this case, the word which became famous was augmented analytics, right? So back in the days, if you go back in time and see the home pages of these tech products, of course, by the way, you can go back in the time to see the homepage. There is a website called Wayfarer that will help fast. But in this time, because tech was also smoothing out, search became popular. Okay. Till here, there was no search. You write a query and you get the results, right? Select star from a table, you will get the tables. But yahan pe, from here, it started happening that it's SQL also, but we started having rule-based NLQ. Means you can search it, right? Whenever you open the website of Amazon, for example, you type shoes and it shows you the shoes, right? How does that happen? That happened because that was rule-based search, right? A company became very famous, that was Elasticsearch. If in case you do not know, Elasticsearch is by an Indian guy. So this is the company which I'm talking about. Website company. So this was the company, right? Again, there's a I can talk about how this works also, but they made search popular. Now every warehouse was connected to a website because they were getting the data, and the websites were having the search option also, right? Because this I'm telling you this feature because this feature is going to evolve into how the platforms work today. Okay. Still here human word read write, but still they had a search option, right? Signature moves, we have Snowflake, we have Databricks, we have Redshift, ThoughtSpot, every BI tool also. Okay, for example, Power BI. Power BI also had search option, ThoughtSpot had search option, Tableau had search options, right? This was the second era. We got just a search on the tools. Then in today's day and age, maybe after 2020, right, till 2022, we got a new concept called Lakehouse. If in case you do not know what is a lake house is a combination of lake, that is a data lake, and house, that is coming from data house, warehouse, right? So you can, what is a data warehouse? You can do the structured reporting, structured data modeling there. What is a lake? Lake is where you store your unstructured data. This came, Databricks, by the way, was a company who introduced quote unquote this terminology and the product. And their claim was, hey, why do you keep your unstructured and the structured data separate? Just use our product and we are just one place to store your entire data, right? In this era, of course, by the way, if in case you do not know, Fabric is also just a lake house, nothing else, because you can store almost everything in that tool, right? That's a one lake format. You use the unstructured data also, you store the structured data also. Everything is getting stored in the format of one lake. Okay, so this was 2020, post 2022-ish era, right? In this era, how was this possible, by the way? However, Databricks came and said that, hey, we can store your unstructured and structured data in the same format because of the file formats they were using. The concept of delta packet files, the iceberg table formats were introduced, not introduced, but widely adopted, and hence this concept came into the market, right? I think 2020 mein hi Databricks launched this lakehouse, right? In this era, a very big shift happened that vector databases also came into the market. Vector search is also came into the market. Maybe I should not write vector databases. I'll write vector search. I'll tell you within few minutes what was vector search, but just telling you that search became more famous. Now in here, by the way, like I told you that we were able to search. In here, we were able to search and the tools were able to auto-complete it as well. Auto-completion was possible because of vector search. Okay. I think गलत लिख दिया. Vector search and humans read write plus search plus autocomplete. And what was the tech behind autocompletion? The tech behind autocompletion was vector searching. The tech behind searching was the rule-based NLQ, right? The elastic search, for example. Once this happened, LLMs also started coming in the picture. Then every tool started integrating the AI in their workflows. Every tool had AI now. We'll talk about that also. But if I go to 2023, for example, right, every engine has AI. So I'll do plus AI. And this was possible because vector databases came into the market. Okay. Again, just stay with me. I'll tell you what was the vector databases also. But vector databases made your NL to answers very famous. That means you were able to do NL to SQL, right? That means instead of writing select star from a table, I can do, hey, tell me the total rows in my table. That was possible because they were using the vector databases in the backend, right? In this era, the market name instead of vector DB, I can also write the copilots became very famous, right? What was the copilot? Copilot was like it converts your English sentences to the sequels, to the Pythons, for example, right? This was 2023 era, and of course, I can keep on who executes also. Humans execute, humans read, humans write, right? But it was just that we get the insight from AI in the Copilot era, or even if you use any Copilot today also, it won't take action. It will read your data, you will be reading your data, and you will be writing something into it also. Okay, this was 2023 era. After 2024, every platform started writing AI native platform. Okay, a new word became very, very, very famous. That was data intelligence platform. Every tool, if you remember, right, before few years had this word, data intelligence platform, AI data cloud, right? Snowflake even use this word today. In this era, if you want to know like what was the tech behind it, like everyone was saying that, hey, till now, till 2023, you can just use Copilot to get summaries of your data, for example. But now you can also take action on your data. Means I can, instead of telling, hey, give me the revenue of my dashboards, give me the revenue of my sales report, I can also tell my platform that create a chart to get the revenue over months. Okay. So in this era, humans read and machines can write. Okay. After 2024, though, it's just consolidation. Okay. So if I write 2025, for example, a very cool thing happened. Everything was populated using vector database, by the way, here. And vectors died here. Vectors DB died. Okay. So I'll double tap on this point also, right? That what was happening here. And here nowadays, everyone is calling themselves agentic, right? Co-worker, if you do not know. Previously, it was co-pilot. Nowadays, the word which they use is co-work, right? Snowflake use it. Fabric uses it, Tableau uses it. Everyone is using co-work instead of Copilot because Copilot can only give you text information, text insight, image insight. It cannot take actions. Co-workers can take actions also. And they do not rely on, by the way, vector databases. I'll quickly take a pause, okay? I'll tell you what exactly is a vector database and a very 101 of what was happening in the vector database era. So I'll open one presentation, okay? I presented this deck uh, in Google DevFest 2025, okay? So I'll show you by this. Uh, I hope you can see. Yes. So this was like back in 2024. I was presenting on like how do you build LLM powered data, modern data tech stack. Okay. So what is the current analytical workflows? And this analytical workflows could be tapped down into the ETL workflows also. There will be some tool, some product. Let's say on the left, there is a product. You will pick the region, you will pick the sales, and there will be a chart. The workflow is you use UI to interact. The UI of, let's say, Power BI or Databricks, Snowflake, for example, they have their own storage engine. They have their own processing engines. Processing engine in term of BI is called visualization engines, right? This converts your clicks to your SQL queries. Then the SQL queries are sent to your analytical databases. Analytical databases means whatever is connected to the Tableau or Power BI, for example. That could be, let's say, Databricks. That could be Snowflake. And the query flows down from there to the SQL databases, right? Whatever transactional you are using. But these workflows are not LLM friendly. I talked about it yesterday also, right? That for example, there are too many clicks, right? Just to create one chart, I'll need to do 4 clicks, and it's so much of a pain to ask someone, even an agent, right? I can tell you how do you code an agent also, but it's so much of a pain to ask agent to do clicks instead of interacting with the code. Okay, so that was the first problem with the current analytical slash ETL workflows and the platforms also. Everything else remains same. Another problem was my transactional databases who were powering these platforms. Transactional database is the leftmost side of my workflow. That means MySQL, that means PostgreSQL. They were very bad with similarity search. What do we mean by similarity search? Again, I'll come to that also, but the replacement of your current workflows was, see this diagram, for example. I wrote that in ChatGPT that region sales is this, based on this, create a chart, and it was able to give me a chart, right? That is the current replacement of your quote unquote the traditional bloated UI, bloated tools, right? The modern workflow would be you will have a text editor or a chatbot to interact so that no clicks are there, right? If I have every artifact in code, I can very easily integrate with the LLMs. This interaction will go to a LLM and a vector database powered metadata layer. You will need to do the metadata layer. I'll talk about metadata layer in some new class also, some next class. We have a separate class for that. But everything which you interact, which you write in ChatGPT, hey, give me sales, give me bar chart, goes to LLM for reasoning, and LLM taps into your database for the metadata layer. Then, of course, everything else remains same, right? There will be storage layer, processing layer, analytical databases, and transactional databases. But once you integrate your vector databases into your workflows, you can do something called meaning-based search. That was the problem here. Similarity search. What exactly is similarity search? I'm going to come here within a minute, okay? So when I'm telling you that the traditional workflows of BI tools, ETL tool is dying, then what is the replacement? Replacement is instead of dragging your sales column to columns and maybe region field to rows, you will do this. You will have a UI chatbot to interact. This, for example, user type, give me bar chart of revenue per customer. Okay, very small problem statement. This problem could go in Databricks, in Snowflake, anywhere, problem remain constant. Then the whatever data platform you're using, analysis of that query will be done. That means you want a bar chart and you want a bar chart of revenue for customer. These are the only information I need to cater to the user, right? That means I can convert this information to JSON. That is done, by the way, by the visualization layer of every tool. That means I just want to map it to chart type. Chart type will be bar, rows will be revenue, and the column will be customer, for example. Right? Now this will be converted. This is, by the way, your just semantic search. This will be converted to a SQL because every BI tool in the end is nothing but a SQL wrapper. Every action which you take on your BI tool is going to be converted to a SQL query. And same is the concept for ETL tool also. Every action which you take on your ETL tool converts to a SQL query. Okay, so this will be converted to SQL query, and then the query runs against your data and it gives you the results back on the screen. Okay, but the problem is, let's say when I gave this query to my LLM and this was the query, right? Select customer and revenue. But let's say customer and revenue were there in my data, I'll get the result. But what if user writes something else instead of revenue or something else instead of customer? What do I mean by that? He can write, let's say I am coming to my sales dashboard or let's say chatbot, I can write, hey, give me total revenue of customer. I can also write, give me total income per customer, total earnings per customer. That means you cannot hard code what is the name of your column, right? If your column in the data was revenue and you write, give me revenue, your platform will give you the answer. But if you go fancy, means give me income, give me earnings, it might not understand what does that mean. Same is the thing for dimensions also. I can call it customer, anyone other customer can call it client, any other user can call it purchaser, right? So when things went fancy, it was tough to avoid the basic search, mix and match mapping of the columns. Then the vector databases became famous. The first solution to this problem, which was implemented by every tool, was we'll have a semantic layer. What is semantic layer? Semantic layer is nothing but a JSON or XML file that will have all the metadata of your data. For example, if I want to solve this problem that, hey, ChatGPT, my revenue can be income, my revenue can be earnings also. This is what I'll create. I'll create a JSON file for tab tables. Again, this semantic layer depends on tool to tool, right? I'll say that columns for each column, for example, for the revenue column, I'll say that, hey, synonyms could be total sales amount, income, earnings, revenue generated, right? For other column, for example, customer, I can say synonyms could be client, account, buyer, purchaser, right? This was the first step which every tool took to solve this. And it didn't fly well, okay? I'll tell you why also. But on scale, the semantic layers with just you populating the synonyms in your data models, in your databases might not suffice because they were doing keyword based search, they were doing fuzziness search, right? Keyword based means if I write boy, if I write boys, if I these two might converge into single column. But if I write men, this might not, your keyword based search will fail. In the back end, these three might be same thing, but your semantic layer will never be able to identify if boy and boys were same as men. Same thing for fuzziness based search. What is fuzziness based search? Fuzziness search means I will grab the characters, and if the correct number of characters are very overlapping, I'll say it's a same thing. And this was also a search which Elasticsearch implemented in lot of products. The problem was if I'm writing boy, if I'm writing boys, I'm getting the data of a boy, for example. But if I'm writing body, BOY is common in both the keywords, I'll also get the same result. So this keyword based searches, fuzziness based searches were not sufficing in the semantic layers. That's why we needed the meaning based search. And this is the problem which vector databases solved. What is the meaning of vectors? What is the problem which vector databases solved? And what is the meaning based search, right? For example, I want to know that, hey, boys are very similar to men, boys are very similar to maybe child, but they are very different from women, for example, right? What I'll do is I'm taking a very dumbed down example. Let's say I have two axes. One is age, that is y-axis. One is gender, that is x-axis. Okay. I'll start plotting all the name which I can think of. Let's say I have a boy. Boy could be, let's say, of gender. Gender, let's say, again, this is not a numerical column, but let's say the males are on the left side and the females are on the right side. So boy will fall on the left side. The age I already know boy can't be of maybe maximum age, so this will come somewhere here. Same thing, man. Man will be on the same gender level, but the age will be more. Same thing for the gentleman, grandfather. You can name everything, right? So I have embeddings. That means every keyword is plotted on my x, y, and z axis, for example. Again, there can be hundreds of axes, but right now I'm taking two axes. Same thing I'll do for all the keyword which I can think about. For example, woman. If I want to plot a woman into embedding or woman into a vector, woman will be very far from boy because let's say here it was my male coordinate, my female coordinate will be somewhere here. So woman will fall here, girl will also fall here, and there will be difference between girl and woman in the age. So woman will be somewhere on the top of girl, right? So this is how the embedding get converted, right? And how this is useful is now if I'm writing boy, I'm searching give me the sales for a boy, for example. Again, very bad example, but maybe give me sales of every gender where the value is boy, for example, right? Boy is very close to man. Boy is very close to gentleman also. Boy is very close to grandfather also. Even if I don't have a keyword of boy in my data, the chances of me getting values for man are more. My LLM will tell you, give you the values of man, the sales of maybe the number of men which are in your data. It will also give you the number of grandfather which are in your data because these vectors are very close. But this will never give you like woman's data in your boy's data, right? Because of course the distance between two values, the boy and woman, is huge. So that means even if I write in ChatGPT or Power BI prompt, for example, that give me the sales of man, for example, even if I don't have any value in the gender column called man, even if I have a boy, I will get the boy's data. How? Because the vectors are very close to each other. So this is called meaning based search. Key, I don't care that I have coded every single option, every single damn option in my product. If I have a vector-based company, vector-based embeddings enabled, vectors will do the justice and it will give me the result even if the user is typing anything. This solved this problem. I can type revenue, I can type income, I can type earning, I can type n number of things. The vectors will be too close that I'll get the recommendation from the engine. Same thing for the dimensions also. I can type customer, client, purchaser because these vectors will be very close in some similarity embeddings, the results I'll get will be the same. So even if I haven't written in my semantic layer that customer is equal to client, I'll still get the results. Okay. I'll take a pause if someone has something in the chat. I don't think so. Perfect. So again, I'll give you one very quick history lesson also here. Okay. Yesterday I was talking to you guys that the vendor consolidation is happening. Okay. Every company is trying to eat their competition, eat their adjacent layer. In the vector databases, very funny thing happened. Okay, because see, what was the offering of vector database? They were saying that hey, just give your entire data to me. I will convert your all the words into some vectors, and I'll give you a feature called meaning-based searches. When this come, that means even if in my website I have the vector database enabled, if I write, hey, give me revenue, or maybe, hey, refund my order, or maybe I'll say, hey, I want to return my order. Refund and return will be very close to each other, and then I'll get the response from the LLM side. These become very famous, and then something boom of vector databases happened. Okay, Meta was the first company who introduced. There was a paper called FAIIS that they introduced in 2017 or somewhere, for example, and they launched a algorithm called FNSS algorithm. Right? They said that, hey, this is how you create vector in databases. Once that paper came by Meta, a lot of companies came into the market. There was a Pinecone, there was a Waywait, right? They got billions of dollars of investment, right? And then ChatGPT boom also happened, and then of course every database was trying to become a vector database. So there was a flux of vector databases in the market, okay, in 2023 era. But right now in 2026, no one even talks about it. Why? Because this feature of converting a word, converting a column to a vector was very easy feature to implement, right? Again, we won't go into technicals in this class because this is a generic free class. We might go into it in the course, but every company realized, every tool realized that instead of purchasing a separate company for a data product for a vector database, why don't we just implement the vector search in my own databases? So every single company started implementing a new data type in the data. Just like we have strings, we have integers, we have floats. Nowadays, every database gives you vector as a database, as a data type also, right? So I posted about it yesterday, today also, right? So for example, if I show you nowadays, creating an index is as easy as creating a vector, right? You just write one line, create execution vector, right? You get a vector. So for example, I'm talking about this. Give me a second. Yes. So, yes. Back in 2023, it was very popular. Everyone wanted to learn vector databases also, right? But then 2024 is people realized that, hey, it's just a one feature, right? Why do we need a different database for that? So every single goddamn database introduced a data type called vector. Nowadays, every feature have it, every product have it, right? MongoDB has Atlas Vector Search. PostgreSQL has PG Vector. Every company is working on PG Vector for now, by the way. Oracle introduced a vector data type. Microsoft SQL Server has a vector data type. AWS, GCP, think of Azure, everyone have their OLTP system, and the OLTP system have a data type called vector. Okay. And even I was talking about some acquisitions yesterday, right? By Snowflake and Database, if you remember, I told you guys that Snowflake and Database both acquired OLTP companies. For example, see here, right? They spent more than billion, right, to acquire Neon and Crunchy Data. Why were they doing that? Because they already know that they need the OLTP data, because the search is going to happen on OLTP data. Because if you see this diagram, every query which you write, no matter how much complex of a query you are writing, no matter how much complex your pipelines are, boils down to transactional databases. If your transactional database is performing bad against NLP, you are going to fail as a tool. That's why every single tool company here, analyticals were here, right? Snowflake and Databricks, they were trying to acquire these companies. So that's why Neon got acquired, Crunchy got acquired, right? 250 millions, 1 billion for that. And the only reason was they enabled the vector-based search very frequently, very easily. So every acquisition in the platform which happens today, right? They had a sense in back in the days, right? So the only crux which you can take from this side is every 2 to 3 years a new keyword will pop up that, hey, we are vector DBs, maybe purchase us, right? But it might not make sense to integrate a new tool, right? Your giant which are already there, giants are Microsoft, giants are Salesforce, giants are maybe Azure, maybe Amazon, for example, right? They'll integrate a feature only. So this yesterday I was talking about tools, acquiring tool. Today I'm talking that the whole domain, whole market, Gartner had a separate quadrant report for vector databases. Got acquired and merged into single feature of a one-line feature of a databases. Okay. So just one pointer that, hey, the search is important nowadays. How is search happening? Previously, it was happening using keywords that, hey, match my keyword. Then it was fuzzy matching that, hey, even if the number of characters are matching, give me results. And then it's a vector database search, right? Nowadays, you don't have a separate product for the vector databases. You just implement the database as a vector. Now, here is a learning for some DBAs also. If you're working on OLTP systems, and when I talk to people that, hey, can you create a database for me, but I want that region column should be, for example, vector searchable. They can't do it. So you have to be up to date with the market, right? Because this is where the market is leading. And to the point that, hey, the teams are going to change and the way you create stuff, you need to know that what's happening in the market. This is first pointer. That tech stack is also going to change and you need to be upskilled about the tech stack as well. Okay. Let me see the chat. Perfect. So nothing else for now. So this was kind of thing which were happening in the data warehouse era, that everyone wanted to tap on just one word, that was vector. Okay, nowadays no one cares because they already got the uh, data type, right? So I'll write just this word. If you want to take just one word from this vector, from this data warehousing progression in the world of AI, just remember this, that vector was the thing everyone wanted to tap into, but nowadays they have a data type. So now you should know how do you create a vector data type in almost every tool which you use. Okay. Now I'll give you example of BI able. What's happening here? Okay. Give me your favorite names. Meanwhile, I'll write some metadata here. Give me your favorite name. I'll tell you what features they are launching. Maybe I'll have keywords. I'll have no, I'll read this. Maybe insight. Example. Example. Okay. So what was happening in BI era? I'll say the first wave which came was an L2 query. That means you give me, and every BI tool started selling this story that, hey, you give me your natural language, I'll convert it to a SQL. I can convert your natural language to the Python code. That was NLP, right? So NLP again, way popular, right? Examples again, multiple examples. ThoughtSpot, for example, launched a ThoughtSpot search. Power BI, if you guys remember, there was a feature that came back in 2018, for example, that was a Q&A feature. You guys remember it? Q&A was NLP service, right? They had this feature where you can write questions and they converted over. Again, it was very bad as a feature, but they had PBI NLP, right? PBI Q&A. Again, nowadays no one uses it. I think they are decommissioning this feature also. Tableau had something called Ask Data, right? ClickSite has something called Q, for example. They have renamed it now, but every feature had a NL to query as an example. Okay, every feature was nowadays. By the way, all these features have been scraped. Also, maybe you can take this at the end of session. How do you keep up with the landscape? I'll take this question, Prahlad. I'll take this question. But answer is just read. I'll help you with that also. Okay, yes, this is helpful. I can think of ontology. Yes, I'm going to come to ontology also, Prahlad. Very good feature. When I'll talk about roadmap also. What you need to know to upskill, right? There, I'll talk about ontologies. Sonali is mentioning about click also, great product. So I hope you guys remember these features. Okay, they don't exist nowadays, by the way. Then new features came, that was conversational analytics. Okay, what was conversational analytics? Means every tool started saying that we will give you summaries of dashboards, templatized automated summaries. Okay. If you remember, every tool had a narrative option in their tool. There was in Power BI, there were automated insights, right? I think Click had Wordsmith, for example. Power BI had smart narratives, for example, right? That means, and this was chart specific, by the way, that if there is a chart, I'll let you converse with it. I will not let you converse with it, but I'll automatically do the summary for that chart. This was like second kind of way which came. After this, again, this was like, you can call it conversational analytics or you can also call it data to narrative. Okay. That means you give me your data, I will give you the narrative, means the summary of that. Again, summary was back popular, but no one uses it, to be very frank, in the enterprises. Okay. Then it was NL to SQL and to code. Okay. What do we mean by that? This is, I think, 2023, 2024 era. Co-pilots came into the market. And in conversational analytics, we were saying that, hey, maybe I'll write things like smart narrative here. Smart narratives. Smart narratives were very dash chart friendly or maybe chart specific, right? When copilots came, they integrated the LLMs because till here, everything was without chat GPT, without Claude, Opus, those kind of models. The LLMs era came here. They launched Copilot, and then they said, "Hey, boss, just ask me question. I'll give you the insights." Right? Amazon AWS launched in ClickSite. Solon, you mentioned it. They have, I think, Q generative SQL. Cortex launched, Snowflake launched Cortex, for example. Gemini got launched in BigQuery, right? Power BI has a Copilot of their own, right? So this era, and this is happening today also, right? That everything was like, hey, don't build a chat dashboard. Let me create a dashboard for you. I can give you the summary for the same also, right? Now what is happening is agentic, right? What is agentic? Every dashboard's pitch nowadays is, hey, we are agentic. I showed you in the starting also. They're saying I'll do NL2 actions. Before this, it was NL2 code or SQL, right? Now it's NL2 actions. That means, and here they call it agents. They call it co-work also, by the way. Wherever you find this word, the difference between co-pilot and co-work is co-pilot just talks to you, agent do the work for you. Right? Co-work is also the same. Agent is followed by Microsoft, the keyword, and the co-work keyword is followed by Databricks and the Snowflake, right? What they say you is, will not just let you find, hey, what is my quote unquote total sales? We'll also let you design the dashboard. We'll also let you design that maybe data model also, right? So it can take actions at your front. And nowadays, platforms are also introducing something called NL2 decisions, right? What is NL2 decision means you write something in natural language that, hey, my sales is dropping. I want to know what's the reason and do the workflow every day and send me an email. So your code agent will perform the analysis also. It's a multi-step process. It performs the analysis, find the reason, integrate the workflow, the platform integration happens, and then it tells you, repeats the entire code for you. So human entirely delegates the work here, right? The difference between here is this was also delegation, but there was a human in the loop. But NL2 decision, which the companies are launching, there is no human in the loop also. It takes the decision and gives you the summary, gives you the action and the insight. Okay. This is the progression that is happening in the BI world. I can keep giving you options also, but I'll tell you the feature names in the last so that if you want to learn, you can learn also. But okay, I will not tell you in this one. I'll tell you separately, okay? But just note one thing that conversational, if you want to take one word, that is copilots, okay? Not conversational. So in the data engineering world, the vector became thing. In BI world, the copilot became a thing. Okay, everyone has it. Now, if I want to give names, maybe this was, I talked very general, right? I talked about that industry pattern. I didn't talk about specific products. If you want me to name the products, what kind of features they are releasing, for example, right? Give me any database of your own. Maybe I'll take few names of databases, few names of BI tools, few names of ETL tools, and I'll tell you where the industry is moving. For example, PostgreSQL. I told you already, right? Databases are only focusing on vectors. So the feature of AI in PostgreSQL is PG vector, right? What is a PG vector? PG vector is a vector database, vector data type. That means if your column is a vector data type, you can do the similarity search on that column. If you want to know about algorithms also, HNSW is an algorithm. If you want to go to deep dive, you can do that. But Postgres went very huge on PG vector. The PG vector is the name of a feature, right? Now you can do two things, right? You can either just know about the features or you can maybe note this somewhere and read more about it when the class is done. If you talk about NoSQL database, for example, MongoDB, right? MongoDB launched Atlas Search, right? Atlas Search was their response to vectors. Means if you want any column to be searchable, make it a vector Atlas Search. Oracle also launched, I think, database 2AI, right? 2AI was their database which is keyword search friendly. Microsoft SQL Server also launched native vector data type, right? Every single database you can think about have their native data type of vector now. They just call it with a different name. Okay. This was about databases. I can talk about the warehouses also. If you can give me any ETL tool, any warehouse tool name in the chat. I'll keep it here. Maybe we'll talk about ETL, okay? Matillion, for example, very legacy tool. They launched their agent or a feature called Maya, MAIA, right? This is their response to AI that, hey, we are agent, Maya is agent, and this will take actions on you for you. DBT Labs, for example, they launched an entire fusion engine, right? They launched an engine because their previous engine was not very fast and they already knew that their product is going to fail. So that's why DBT core is different now and DBT fusion engine is different now, right? And they also have a AI flavor. Their AI flavor is Copilot. Again, very famous name. Fivetran also launched a feature called Connectors SDK. With you can connect your LLMs with the help of the code, and then all the LLMs can talk to the Fivetran workflows, right? Every single detail tool, like Informatica, for example, have a GPT called Clear, right? If you're using Power Center of Informatica, if you're using ISC of Informatica, Clear is the response of Informatica to the AI world, right? Airbyte, for example, they have Builder Assist feature, for example, right? This was ETL world. Every single ETL tool launched their Copilot alternate, right? So example, every database launched their vector data type. Every ETL tool launched their Copilot. You talk about data warehouse, for example. Who is doing what? Snowflake, someone mentioned in the chat, right? Snowflake has launched Cortex. Cortex can do the agentic stuff, right? It can run the code for you, it can build pipelines for you, it can run the databases for you as well. Databricks launched Genie, right? Genie has two features. Genie has Genie 1 also, Genie Ontology also, Genie AI BI also. Different features, different options which are available in Databricks. Databricks is saying, hey, don't do it manually. Use our agent for that. BigQuery had Gemini because BigQuery is by Google, right? Redshift had Redshift by Amazon, and Amazon uses something called Q, right? Q is their, again, very bad nomenclature, but they call their agent as Q. Fabric had tons of options. I'm going to talk about it. They have ontologies, they have IQ, they have EQ, they have co-foundry, they have agents, they have copilot, they have tons of options. Of course, each tool solves different purpose, but just giving you highlights that every BI tool is now have an agent in their platform. If I talk about, let's say, warehouse is done, I'll talk about BI, right? Tableau. Tableau has something called Tableau Pulse. Tableau has Tableau Agents. Tableau has Tableau Next. They had Tableau Einstein also in the past, but Einstein got replaced by Agent, right? By the way, each one solves a different use case. For example, what is Tableau Pulse? Tableau Pulse is like, hey, if you have a KPI, I'll give you automated summary. That's Tableau Pulse for you. What is Tableau Agent? Tableau Agent is you don't just want to see the summary, you also want to double tap and ask more questions. That is Tableau Agent, formerly Tableau Einstein. They also have Tableau Next. What is Tableau Next? Tableau Next is, hey, you can integrate AI that will talk to Tableau, but will also talk to your all the other Salesforce products. Right? This is Tableau response to the agentic world. Same thing for ThoughtSpot also. ThoughtSpot has a Sage, they have a Spotter. What is a Sage? Sage is a co-pilot and Spotter is a co-worker. So if you want to know one thing here, just know that every BI tool is going to have two options. One is co-pilot, one is co-worker. The names can differ. Okay. This will help you to get the answers. This will help you to get the work done. That means this is the agentic part here. Okay. The names I'm giving you, ThoughtSpot is going good. One fun fact, I posted one insight about ThoughtSpot few days back, and the CEO also replied. So okay, I forgot the flow, so I'll skip it. But ThoughtSpot also had Sage, they have Builder and Spotter, right? Click Sense, I think Sonali mentioned, right? They have Insight Advisor, they have Agentic Experience. So every BI tool have two features for AI now. One for Copilot, one for Cowork. Same is the pattern for warehouses also. If you go to Snowflake's website and see what they are doing, if you go here and see their website, they have a toggle on their homepage. One is code, one is work. Code they are calling Snowflake Snowflake Coco. That means Coco means code, and then they have work, that is Snowflake Co-work. Code can just give you insights and convert your words to some give you results. It's a copilot, and co-work is your agent. So the same insight that I'm giving you, that every tool is going to have two options, you have to learn both of them, right? Fundamentally they work the same. I'll tell you how do you learn this stuff also, if you want to learn how do you integrate these tools, AI tools also. But crux is, every tool is launching their own single alternate to the copilot and their single alternate to the coworker. Okay, now that question could have something in the chat. Cortex code, yes, right? Now, if you want to learn these features, maybe I told you guys few things. I told you that, hey, the market is moving towards AI. I told you that each data platform that you use is having AI into it. I told you that every product you can think about in data architecture, in data world, is having the AI flavor. Now, if you want to upskill yourself in AI, I'll give you a few pointers and you will get to know that how you can use it. Okay. So if I go here and I realize one thing, that it's very tough to fit these classes in 1 hour, so maybe I'll try to think something about it. But roadmap. Okay. Mm, First thing you need to learn is learn how to integrate. I think I'm using it too big. So learn how to integrate AI or LLM with your code. Okay. How do you do that? You do that with the help of APIs. So you need to know how do you work with APIs. I gave you one hot take yesterday that hey, the people who know code are going to win hugely in this era. And this is one pointer that if you want, because there could be two types of people, right? One is who you consume ChatGPT or Claude. Maybe you go to Claude, put that data set and get the insight. They are not tech work, right? Tech work is when you can write your own code and you have integrated Copilot, Claude, and any other tool into it, right? So this happens by APIs. So you need to know the APIs of Claude and you need to know the APIs of Copilot and ChatGPT, for example. It's the first thing you need to know. Once you know this, then the second thing you need to know is learn, because we are data people here, learn how to integrate LLM with your data. Right, means you have your custom data, maybe some Excel file is present, some CSVs are present, some PDFs are present. How do you integrate that in your prompts, in your LLMs? That happens by the way with the help of RAGs. Right, so learn how do you work with RAGs in your workflows. Third thing you need to know, and this is in progression, right? Learn first, then second, then third. That's the hierarchy here. But third thing you need to master is learn how to integrate AI with your data products. This is the most important. That means if your company is using Snowflake, learn how do you integrate Snowflake's AI into your own products. Maybe you want to use Claude with Snowflake, you want to use ChatGPT with Snowflake. Maybe you're using Power BI, for example. Learn how do you integrate Power BI with your ChatGPT. That happens with the help of something called MCP. Okay, I can teach you this in this 1 hour class, but this is taught very well in the course which I'm going to talk about in maybe next 2 to 3 minutes. This is the third thing you need to know about, right? Once you integrate, when you try to integrate your data products, could be ETL tool, BI tool, database, anything BI and some warehousing. You also need to know the APIs. So in here, I was talking about APIs of LLMs. Here, I'm talking about APIs of data products. Learning API is very important in today's day and age. Okay, once you know this, then again, it's going to be piece of cake for you guys. Then learn maybe some other high level stuff like how do you set, how to benchmark stuff, like because one LLM can give you very separate results slash cost slash latency. How do you benchmark that? Learn benchmarking. There are different tools. Learn how to save cost also. Different libraries exist. Tune, by the way, is a great library I use every day to save some tokens in my workflows. Save tokens. Learn how to improve latency. You don't need to wait along for the AI workflows to run. Learn how do you what else could be there? Similarly, I can keep on appending this list, right? Maybe set guardrails also because hey, you whatever security you want to set, role-based securities, RLS, object level security, you have to set up with the AI responses also, right? So how do you set guardrails? That could be one pointer to learn. Guardrails, right? And the last pointer is keep yourself updated with keep yourself updated with what companies are releasing. Companies features, right? Every single company is releasing their own feature. If you're not looking at that, I'm telling you guys, mark my word, record it, send me after 1 year, the workflows of your tools are going to change. This is one hot take, right? No one nowadays build a software or a product for humans to consume. Everyone wants it to build it for AIs to consume. Okay, and if you want it to consume, you need to know what companies are doing. For example, someone mentioned about Fabric. The number of features which Fabric has for AI, humongous. They have Agent Studio, they have Co-Foundry, they have IQ, they have EQ, they have Copilot, they have data agents, they have data activators, they have ontologies, right? All these features solve some very small niche problems. So when I said keep yourself updated with what product features your company is releasing, whatever your product you are using, this is what I mean, that you should know that what does each stuff do, because that's the only way you can consume the product, right? You are not going to build another Snowflake. You are going to use Snowflake only, but in your own workflows. Even Snowflake also. Snowflake has co-work, Snowflake has code also, right? Similarly, I can name every single tool. You need to know these 5 steps for initial use cases, at least for if you are in data analytics and data engineering background. I won't tell you how do you get stuff done in data science because I'm not a data scientist, quote unquote. I am a guy who work in engineering and analytics and I can integrate. I'm working as a innovation partner also with my company, so I know how to get stuff done. And these are the only factors, only pointers right now you need to know if you want to say that, hey, I am AI enabled developer, manager, lead, or something like that. Okay. This was the roadmap, by the way. Again, learning them is not tough. It doesn't take a lot of time, right? Learn the API of ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude takes you one day. You need to know the base, for example, but yeah, just giving you example, right? Need to know the RAG, you need to know the MCPs, right? MCP is the only way you can integrate products into your code. Again, we have a separate class for MCPs also. Feel free to explore the uh, free masterclass section. We'll talk about what exactly is MCP. But whenever nowadays people come to me, the mentees come to me and tell me, hey Sahil, I want to know how do I upskill in AI. These are the only 5 pointers. If you know this, nothing is going to tell you that hey, you're not up to the market or you're not up to the speed. Okay. Maybe you can take this at the end, but how do you keep yourself updated with the data landscape? This is bread and butter for me, Prahlad. So to be very frank, I'm very passionate about what I do. So I keep myself up to date with the product features, the thing which is happening in the company. I have the fundamentals clear, so it helps me. But yeah, just upskilling, just learning new stuff, reading documentation. That's the only point. I can think of ontology fabrically. Have you used it in project? Any use case you can share? Yes. Prahlad is saying there is a feature called ontology that is by Fabric. What is the meaning? So Prahlad, think of it in this way. Let's say you have a sales data model and you have finance data model. Okay. Similarly, you can have different reports, different data models. Okay. The problem is Copilot nowadays is saying that if you want to ask me question, ask about this report. If you want to ask me question about finance, ask about this report. Copilot cannot answer if there are two reports. Right? It cannot integrate multiple data models into a single entity and tell you that, hey, I'll answer that. And the reason is, and of course, this is the problem. Because see, one metric, one term can have different meaning for different teams. Maybe customer for, let's say, finance team would be someone who has made a purchase. Customer for customer support team is someone who raised a ticket. Entity is same, column is same, customer, but meaning is different, right? So that means it is very important to integrate multiple data sets and you should have a business entity tag that what does customer mean for sales team, what does a customer mean for customer support team. That's what ontologies provide you. It helps you to tag every single technical term, every single technical data model into a business entity. It creates a graph for you. We'll talk about it in future sessions also, but that graphs help you to answer multi-model, multi-entity kind of questions. I hope this answered your question, Prahlad. It's a keyword based search, but not yes. No, it's not. So see, it's a semantic based search, right? How the semantic based search happens is once you create a semantic layer in the backend, all the reasoning models nowadays can connect your keywords to a number of meanings, right? So reasoning model which are used are LLMs. The semantic model is by your business because customer, how will ChatGPT know that customer for sales is different from customer from, let's say, sale, my marketing team, right? So it's a keyword based search only for semantic model, but in the backend it's just a meaning based only, right? I'll give you a few hot takes. Oh, also by the way, before giving you hot takes, right? This class was a subpart marketing. Otherwise, my marketing team will kill me. This class was part of a bigger course which I teach about data solutions architect. Whenever I'm talking about these features, the one pointer I want to tell you guys is the only people who will win or who will be excelling their careers is the person who know how do you integrate everything together. If I know Tableau, if I know Snowflake, I need to know how do you integrate both the tools with maybe into each other. I need to know the foundations and then I can build some solutions, some co-pilots, chatbots, blah, 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 those kind of stuff also, right? So this is a part of bigger cohort, which I teach here. This is the become a data solutions architect. Again, all the summary here, this is going to be live sessions. 70 plus hours, 20 plus tools. I only teach you by reports, by workflows, by case studies, by white papers. I don't give you anything without a proof. Everything is going to be followed. It's going to prepare you for the interview. So we have 800 plus interview through the labs. We have indicated labs in the portal also. If you want to know me, I didn't give you introduction, but yeah, my name is Sahil. I'm a senior manager analytics in Sigmoid. Apart from that, I do teaching, I do mentoring, I do public speaking, I do coding, I write also some of the thing which I do. And yeah, I will be teaching this cohort, and I think this is the curriculum of the program. Everything which I'm talking here is just one module of this cohort in agentic AI. In agentic AI, you are going to learn how do you call LLMs with API, how do you integrate RAGs, how do you integrate MCPs, how do you design a MCP, how do you bring guardrails of cost, logic, all those kind of ontologies, right? How do you build a semantic layer? How do you build text to SQL? How do you create a playbook for the enterprise design? How do you create agents for that, right? Everything, even the ontologies, IQ, EQ, everything is covered here. Okay, so if you like today's class, I'm very sure, very damn sure that you're going to love the cohorts. Okay, the thing which I covered, again, you can go to the website. I will drop the link in the chat. So this is the link, and if you need a coupon, I will drop the coupon here. That is FMS, free masterclass. So feel free to go through the course, feel free to enroll in. You will learn things start from the scratch about data language, like how to use maybe Python, SQL, data flowing languages, YAMLs, XMLs, JSONs, those kind of things. Then you learn the databases, the ETL tools, the BI tools, the CI/CD, the API stuff, the performance optimization, governance, open source tech stack, those kind of things. So it's not like some other random course which caters masses. I'm telling you right in the front, it is not for the masses. It is not for the very beginners who are just coming in the industry. This is for the people who are already in the industry but who want to upskill themselves. Okay, even though there is no prerequisite, I'm telling you, just being clear. So yeah, this was the cohort which I teach, and I know a few of you are already part of this cohort, but would love to get most of you. What are the timings? This happened on the weekends, Harsha, Saturdays and Sundays for 2.5 hours. For the timing, I'm not right now very sure about the timing because I haven't set up the time because it's going to start on August 15th. But if you have any recommendation, just let me know. I'm taking recommendation from the students only because they are going to be catered. So give me a recommendation about times also. I'll consider that. So if you have some very specific recommendation that hey, I want to be at this specific session, I'll consider that into the timings. Okay, but after the live class is done, you are going to get the recordings also. So even if you miss a class, it's not going to be like bothering you, right? Also, by the way, if today's class, if you want to see the recordings, if you want to note something, you can join the Discord. It's a free community. I will drop the link so that you have that community also. So the recordings of the session will be placed in the Discord. I forgot yesterday to place this, but just placing it right now. I hope you guys are getting the message. Do we get all the tools to practice in the labs? Yes, Param, you get all the access of the tools. If in case I haven't flashed it yet, uh, we have a lot of challenges labs, the studios and the interview challenges, right? For example, if I go to SQL, I built this engine which has, I think, 225 plus questions. These are questions which are asked in real world interviews because in interviews, no one asks you, hey, tell me the difference between where and having. Only LinkedIn ke gurus will tell you that that is asked, but no one asks that question. They'll ask you business questions that, hey, tell me the how many days have been passed between two orders. Problems like that. Every challenge is written here. And this platform is the one where you can practice this also. You don't need to do any installation on your tool, on your software, on your product laptops. Just you see the problem. If you want to write the code here. You will be practicing here. And if you want to see the solution, it is logged only and it's available only for the paid user of the cohort because I have to pay for the compute in the backend. That's why it's logged. So every single lab which you see here, even for the APIs, right? For example, I want to teach you guys how to use APIs because you can't work with AI if you do not know how to use APIs. For APIs, we have a lab. We have 31 challenge for the Power BI, for example. Let's say I want to give you a problem statement that give me the list of all the workspace reports which exist. For that, we have a challenge here. You will write the API request here. You will pass the headers and the body. Again, I'm going to teach you how does this work. Just telling you that these features are available, okay? You'll be able to practice everything here, okay? So I think I have few more minutes. So I'll drop few of the hot takes, okay? I'm not sure they are going to survive or not because I was the only person who was praising vector databases pre 2024, but they failed, right? So not sure it will pass or not, but most of my data hot takes have been quite conclusive. So I'll tell you. First hot take is all the tools are going to have a headless CI interface. What is headless? Headless means you don't need to open a tool to access the tool. What do we mean by that? Means let's say there's a Power BI. You do not Power BI soon is going to launch a tool that is headless, means you do not need to open a tool of Power BI. You will open your terminal. Let's say this terminal could be by maybe any code editor, for example. You will be able to access everything through this terminal because, see, I told you, right, that everyone is building for agents. Agents don't click. They can, but that's not the perfect design pattern. So every tool is going to have a headless CLI interface, and because AI can also use it and humans can also use it. So sooner or later, everyone is going to have this field. That's the first hot take that UI is going to be dead. Okay. Second hot take, I already told you that every company is going to prioritize building product, adding feature who caters to agents, not humans. Okay. Third hot take, give it to your managers. You cannot win against big tech giants. Don't, if your manager is asking you, hey, build me a Copilot alternate, you can't. You will not win it. Okay, so you need to be adoptable and you need to adopt what the companies tech giants are releasing. You are not supposed to build a Copilot test POC in your company and say, hey, we'll sell it. It's not going to be sold. I have done the hard work. I was in Europe few months back just for this. And no one purchases those solutions. Okay, everyone bets on Microsoft, they bets on Amazon, they bets on the big tech giants. No one is going to bet on some developer who use cloud to build a POC and they are saying that, hey, purchase our POC. So don't waste your time there. Okay. One of the workflow bet is on workflows, right? Nowadays it's human assisted. That means human goes in the tool and write, hey, do this. It's going to be autonomous soon. Like every tool is going in that direction, right? It need to be autonomous. It means I can just type it and forget that it will be done. Right now you need to approve, click here. Few of the human assisted patterns are still there, going to be dead within few years. Okay. This one I heard from someone. I was talking to someone, and he told me that the managers are going to manage agents instead of people, instead of freshers. So very debatable, but this is also going to be a thing, okay? Because everyone is going agentic, right? And the last take, semantic layer is going to be the only big thing in the data 3.0 era. Data 3.0 era means when the companies are building products for the AI. The semantic layer is the only thing which matters because semantic layer understands your business. Okay. Semantic, every single tool is trying to capture the semantic layer. Power BI is trying to capture the semantic layer. They stop Databricks to accept it. Databricks is trying to capture the semantic layer. They introduce a dashboarding for that because see, how do you create semantic layer? Semantic layer is created using BI tools. That means every warehousing tool is going to launch a BI tool or a flavor of BI tool because they want to capture the semantic layer. Okay, what is semantic layer? It has the business meaning and the context and how do you link the data, how do you join the data. So it's a left shift happening in the semantic layer. What do we mean by that? Databricks is saying, hey, don't use BI tool. It sucks. Use me for creating semantic layer. DBT is also saying that. DBT is saying we have launched a new feature called semantic layer. Create the KPIs, create the business logic in me only. So it's a left shift which is happening. Previously it was right shift. We used to say that, right? That all the majors business logic should reside in report. This is changing. Okay, every tool nowadays, if you go in the sales call of those tools, they are saying, hey, don't use BI tool. Write the calculations within me only. So this is also one of the shift that is happening. So what will freshers do? I can have a debate on this, Shivan. So maybe ping me on LinkedIn. Who's gonna stay in the era? As of now, I can feel all the analytics, mostly dashboarding will be wiped out. It's not the case, Harsha. Even if I'm telling you that Power BI is launching a feature Copilot who can build a report, in current day and state, it builds very bad reports. Okay. What do we mean by bad report? What do we do when we create a Power BI dashboard, for example? First step is we ingest our data, then we create some transformation, then we create a data model, then we create a report, we create visual, we create calculation, we create RLS, we create incremental refresh, we create custom, maybe some custom formatting, we create some custom rules, we create some custom titles, and we publish it. We publish it, we enable the users, we do the access management, everything. Copilot, as of now, can only create charts and a data model. And even if you go complications, add complication, it will suck. I'll give you one proof, okay? I recorded a video that all the copilots failed to answer a question. This is for Power BI, okay? So maybe I'll give you the example. Wait. And I was also shocked, and I show this to my clients nowadays that who argues that, hey, why do we need you if I can use Chat GPT, okay? So give me a second. I just don't want to release my personal stuff here, so let's hope. Yes, this will be shifted here. Mm, I'll show you from here. I'll give you this video link also, okay? It's a very small shot that was in this video. Wait. Uh, 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 uh. I think this one. Give me a second. Yes. But ins and outs. Can you guys tell me if you can see the I have taken so you can hear the audio of this video? It's tool agnostic. You can recreate the scenario in any other tool as well. So I have two tables here. One is a okay. dim table which has four So rows. I'll give you what I did and what was the conclusion, okay? And I just want whoops. So this is day Give me a one of second, I'll learning just the intrinsics, the ins and outs of data modeling. I'll just confirm if this is the I've video or taken not. Power BI as a tool here, but it's tool agnostic. You can create the another say, river. Have one. This is it's Give me a second, this guys. One day into product. Even if should have one insect No, I think I forgot the column. Video, but I did a testing. Okay, maybe I'll drop the link in the chat. Okay, in the Discord chat. So what I did was I created two tables in Power BI. One table was product table, one was sales table. In product table, it was very messy data. Blank rows here, blank value here. In here also repeated values. I did the join, and I in Power BI there is an option called assume referential integrity. Right, I played with that option, and I gave all the screenshot to ChatGPT, Claude, Opus, everyone, and told me give me the answer. Every single LLM gave me wrong answer. I have the video. I'll send you the link. Okay, I'll find it. Right, find to find it. But the answer is if you know the basics, if you know the depth, if you have the depth, okay, you are not going to be replaced by some AI, right? The Copilot nowadays can't even do conditional formatting, and forget that it's going to replace you. But in future, I think I gave you the hint, right? You just need to adopt like how do you work with AIs, and then it's not going to be tough for you. What's your take on enabling customers building their own dashboard? Great point, Prahlad. This is the question for self-serve. So what happens is because Copilot is coming, Copilot is saying, hey, everyone can build a dashboard. So now what is happening is there are 10 users in my company. Everyone is asking Copilot to build their own dashboard, which is fine. But it's tough for them to confirm if the numbers are right or not. That is first point. Second point is self-service enabled. That is fine. But this is going to increase the inventory of reports. That means earlier, if there was only one team building a dashboard, now there will be 10 people writing a prompt and getting 10 reports. Now you have 10 reports in your Power BI tenant. This will increase the number of reports and the data models on your service. If that is increased, your cost of compute and storage is going to increase also. So it's not going to be that easy that everyone can enable it. So we can enable the self-serve. How do you enable self-serve on your dashboard? That's a different take. You enable something called build functionality. You enable the analyzing Excel functionality, but not with Copilot. Okay, Shivanshi Singh, it's clear. Perfect. So at 7:30 it's going to end the call very abruptly because that's how Zoom works. And but yeah, I hope you learned something new. The point of me for this class was to tell you where industry is moving and to tell you where the products are moving and to tell you how what feature they are launching, what is the name of the feature, what does that do. The roadmap is just do those 4 to 5 pointers. If you can do it on your own, well and good. If you need any help or if you love this class, I would love to cater you in the class also. Okay, very well explained. Perfect. Thanks, Sunil. I had a lot more planned by the way, but the time doesn't let me do that because I have those things in my mind. But of course, time is a constraint, right? So yeah, maybe enroll in the course and we will learn things in much more detailed way. Okay. And yeah, thanks a lot for attending. Thanks a lot for joining me on the Sunday. I hope you have good rest of the weekend. And yeah, we'll catch up next week. Thank you. Thanks, Param. Thanks, Sunil. Thanks, Ashwa. Thanks, Madhur, Mahendra. Sure, Mahendra, we'll have a call. Thanks, Vivek. Thanks, Rahul, Prateek. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks, Evan, Harshil. Thanks, man. Much appreciated. Thanks, Harshil. Bye bye. You guys want me to go first? At 7:30 anyway, it's going to end. थैंक्स प्रतीक खत्म हो जाएगा अभी 1 मिनट में कट नहीं हो गया कॉल